It's Mike Brandenstein with the Worship Bass Workshop recording another bass tutorial for Jellynote. Today, we're doing something special today. We're going to look at a classic song by, it seems like they're all classic songs. I realize I say that every time, but this is a classic song, a sad song, but also a powerful song by Eric Clapton called Tears in Heaven. Now, this song has a fretless bass in it, very melodic bass line in this song, and it just made me think about melody. And I thought I'd deviate a little bit today, and that's right, we're going to look at melody today. But we're going to look at the building blocks of the melody first and start looking at a major scale. What is a major scale? How do you play it? And then, most importantly, how do you use it to, first of all, figure out a song? We're going to figure out a melody. And then how do you use it to kind of create your own lines, your own bass lines? And we'll check that out. So go get your bass and come on back and maybe bring a notepad. But get ready to work because we're going to learn this. Think about how many letters we have in our English alphabet. We have 26 letters, right? And think about, with only those 26 letters, how many volumes of books, novels, reference manuals, poems, songs, throughout history, documents have been written just using those 26 letters. Well, in music, we really shave it down, and we have 12 notes that we work with in music. And from those 12 notes in Western music, anyway, in those 12 notes, using those 12 notes, think about all the songs that have been written just using those 12 notes. Today, we're going to look at the basic building blocks of a melody and of a song. And we're going to start with just looking at a major scale. With this song being such a melodic song, and I think we've worked a lot with different kind of bass lines and a lot of different songs and how to play and some of the technique. Today I want to look at a little bit of theory. And don't get scared by that word. It's really not a big deal. It's just a term. But we're going to look at the major scale, okay? You know the major scale. It is do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, okay? And with those 7 notes, that's just 7 notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We finish off with the 8th note, but that is actually the same as the first. So this is an A major scale, and we're starting off with A, and going to B, then C sharp, then D, E, F sharp, G sharp, and A. Now, if you are familiar with musical staffs and notation, and you look and you see 3 sharps, that is the key of A. And the reason is because in the A major scale, there are 3 sharps. A, B, C sharp, that's our first, D, E, F sharp, that's our second, G sharp is our third, and then we have A. Okay, so with those 7 notes, we're going to see how much of that is used to build the melody for Tears in Heaven. Okay, so number one, when we think about this major scale, to get to know it, you can really just use this pattern right here. And what I'm doing, first of all, try to help yourself, challenge yourself to use all 4 fingers if you can. What I say to anybody, any of my students or anybody else asking, is if you have any kind of pain, if it really hurts to stretch your fingers out on the neck, then really accommodate for that by by not using all 4 fingers. If you just, have to shift your hand, that's okay. Make sure you're not hurting yourself, okay, because that can happen. So, but if you can use all 4 fingers, then start off with your middle finger on the A, that's the 5th fret of the 4th string. Then the pinky, the dreaded pinky, we all hate to use it. The pinky on the 7th fret of the E string or the 4th string. And then we move down to the 3rd string. Index finger on the 4th fret, that's a C sharp. Middle finger on the 5th fret of the 3rd string. Pinky again on the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Then an F sharp, which is we're shifting down to the 2nd string. It's the 4th fret of the 2nd string. And then we go with our ring finger. It's another tough one to use sometimes. For the G sharp, and that is the 6th fret of the 2nd string, D string. And then we hit it off, we cap it off with another A, pinky on the 7th fret of the 2nd string. So, once again. Now, the key to having that fingering is maintaining that same fingering every time you play this. And if you're just getting to learn this scale, this is a great way to do it. Kind of get your fingering locked in. Do it like this. There's a variety of fingerings you can use for this kind of scale, but we're just going to start off with this. The cool thing is once you have that fingering, that pattern down, you could do that anywhere. If I move up to B flat, if I move to, I don't know if I want to change strings. I want to move up to, let's say I want to move up to F, G, A flat. Anywhere you start, you're going to be fine, as long as you have these 3 strings. When you only have 2 strings, then you got to shift a little bit, right? That's another lesson. But right now, if we're just getting used to this pattern, then you can lock it in and learn to play that. Learn the sound of it also. It's good to know the sound of the major scale, to hear that major tone, that major feel to the sound, to the sound of the major scale. Okay, so from there, hang on a second, shift this a little bit. Okay, so when we look at the song Tears in Heaven now, this song is in the key of A. And if we look at the melody, we can try to figure it out. And the way this melody works is this. It's I'll play it for you and then explain it. And I'm going to play it on the low notes to get us started, because that's the area of the bass we've been using for this scale. Here we go. Okay, that's the first line. If we move it up an octave, we could do, if we played our scale up here, starting at this A, then it would sound like this. Okay, that's the first 2 lines of the song. And what we have here is our A major scale, remember. Now, if we play that, to play that melody, we're using all the notes of the major scale there, you see. We're using the 3rd one to start off, which is a C sharp. Then we go to the 1 note, which is the A. And I'm just getting that through just counting the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and then 8. So we can just say the number of the notes, and then we can identify the notes in that way. The advantage there is that you could play that in any key. If I shift and I know it's 3, 1, 5, 3, 3, then I could play it. I could start anywhere. Okay, or I could start here. All right, so that's how we use the numbering system as well. So let's look at this again. I'm going to play the 3, which is a C sharp, the 3, 1, 5, 5, 3, which is C sharp, A, E, E, C sharp. And the second line is 4 twice, so 4, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, okay? Now remember, I'm not talking about frets here, I'm just talking about the number of the scale, the number of the note in the scale. Now we repeat it. Okay? So that is the first part of that verse. Okay, now the second part of this verse is going to be using the same notes. We're going to only deviate from the scale one time. We're going to take one note out of the scale, and that's part of this melody. So as I was saying before, the scale really serves to provide the building blocks for the chords and the melody. The building blocks are the notes of the major scale, okay? For this particular song, some songs are built on the minor scale. Other songs are built on different kind of scales. There's a bunch of different kind of scales. Right now we're just dealing with the major scale. So what we're doing here is we are we're going to start with the second part. That's where we are. And we're going to go, we're starting with the 1. Now I'm playing this an octave up. But so the 8 becomes a 1 if we're going to play it like that. The 8 and the 1 are the same note. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1. If we were to ride this up 2 octaves, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right? We could start over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. Okay? Now, if we're going to use these notes as our building block, the next note, the next part of the scale is, which is 1, 1, 1, 2, 7. And this is where we deviate from the scale. We hit a G. We go G, 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 A, F sharp, which would be a flat 7. Then we go to the 8 or the 1, and to the 6. So flat 7, 8, 6. And then to end it, we're going to go on 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 5. 3, 2, 2, 1. 3, 2, 2, 1. Okay? Now, I'm trying to keep this melody in the box here. The box that we played in. Kind of this 4-fret box that we played in earlier. Of course, we did come out of it. And we also played a G, which was not part of the scale. But I'm showing you this to show you how a scale can serve, and knowing a scale can serve in your building of songs and melodies, but also in learning the song and the melody. Because chances are, as you can see here, when we're learning a melody, if you want to just kind of learn a new melody or a new song, first of all, find out what key it's in. And then from there, go to those notes, get to know those notes, and figure the song out with those notes first. So when I'm thinking in that key, when I'm trying to figure out this melody, it's the first thing I'm doing is I'm thinking about those notes in the key of A. Okay, then okay, and then all those notes fit in the scale. So it's just a way of getting to know how, and maybe give you a little shortcut to figuring out some of these tunes that you're trying to figure out. Also, it's just helpful to know this scale. When you know the major scale and you know the sound of the major scale, then it makes it a lot easier to start figuring out melodies. You're able to start figuring out songs, and you start to see the relationship between the notes. As you move on with this major scale, you may want to start looking at the intervals between notes. So the 1 and the 2, getting to listen to that and remember and start storing that into your memory so that you can kind of identify a full step or a 1 to 2 interval, a 1 to 3. That's your major interval. So when you hear that interval, a lot of times you'll start hearing that and say, oh, that's a major third. A 1 and 5. It's a very common interval. It's used a lot. And so when you hear that and can identify it, you'll start to have ways of picking that out. And then it'll make figuring out a melody, figuring out a bass line a lot quicker. You'll start to get good at it, and you'll start to just kind of hear this and know that's a 1 to 5 interval. Okay, so next week what we'll do is we'll look at the bass line off the tabs. If you look at your Jellynote tabs, we'll start following that bass line and get to learn the song in that way. But I hope this was helpful today. I wanted to at least show you how the scales relate to the song. A lot of times we're a little bit we don't feel like we need to learn scales. And I just want you to see kind of the benefits of knowing scales and starting to understand how these notes and how these melodies and these chords are all built and how much it has to do with knowing your scales. Okay, so until next time, this is Mike Brandenstein for Jellynote. Don't forget to click on the link. Get the Jellynote tab. If you haven't gotten the Jellynote tab already, I don't know why, because it's there. It's awesome. Click on it and get it. By the way, get the premium too. I mean, it's really worth being able to print out those tabs and getting all the benefits you get with the premium membership with that app, okay? So until next time, this is Mike Brandenstein from the Worship Bass Workshop, recording for Jellynote. Take care, keep working, and I'll see you then.